Some things will never go out of style, like honoring your mother and father, saluting the great flag of this nation, and racism. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm as racist as the next guy. Black people, they do like the gangster rap and fried chicken. White people, someone maybe show them the inside of a spice cabinet. Mexicans, someone maybe show them the proper use of a condom. Asians, I rubber you a wrong time. And Cubans, if there's anyone that dislikes your average Cuban more than me, that's most likely another Cuban. Don't even get me started on Haitians. As you may or may not know, people on X, formerly known as Twitter, are absolutely insufferable. If it isn't B that they have a problem with, then it's C or D and the like. It seems that there's always some discourse about something on that hellscape of a platform, and race is always in the top 3, with the other 2 being politics and how gay or trans-coded a random cartoon character is. Weirdos are online. I'm one of them. But it has become such a tired trope of seeing Twitter artists whine and moan about what's acceptable and what isn't as interpretation for a character. And while the internet isn't a real place, it's where I spend a lot of my time, so I'm gonna talk about this. You'll often see on the internet artists take a few creative liberties on certain characters when deciding how to depict them, such as age, body shape, sexual orientation, and yes, even race. But when is it okay, and when is it not okay? There has been plenty of discourse in regards to all the variables I've listed above. There was even a case where someone was bullied off of the platform because they depicted Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls as overweight. Not making this up. In short, some people are particular about how their comfort characters are drawn and posted. And I'm sure all manner of people have their reasons for not wanting to see a character depicted in a certain way, but is it all valid? Short answer, no. But also yes, because let people draw what they want, how they want, even though there are some horrendous things on this site. My goodness, they should have never banned porn from Tumblr. If it's not done with malicious intent, then it shouldn't matter how a character is depicted. But I will say, if you are posting your art to the internet, then you cannot be upset when people fucking shit on it. And that is a hill I am willing to die on. And I'm particular about how I like some of my characters drawn as well, but I'm not gonna get on anybody about it. But telling someone they can't draw a character a certain way because you don't like it, you can eat my ass off from the back, hater. The whole reasoning for this idea came from a submission I saw on X by All Hell the Captain. In the first image, it shows a white character being translated into black with a check mark above it, signaling that it's okay for this character to be made another ethnicity because it's done for the sake of adding representation or because the person relates to the character. This version is harmless. But if you change a canonically black character, or colored in this case, to a non-melanated individual, it's done for the sake of racism, pettiness, or simply ignorance. White people don't need more representation. Black people and people of color in general are oppressed and lack good, if any, representation in media. There's no need to make a character who isn't white, white. No! Quick, someone tell the showrunners for The Boys that it's racist to make the Deep a white guy! Hark! Can someone please tell the directors for the beloved Blade franchise that Blade's mentor is supposed to be a black dude? Oh, please. Did anyone tell the crew behind the Spawn film that Terry Fitzgerald is supposed to be a black dude? Oh, will someone please think of the original ethnicity for the characters in Speed Racer? You see where I'm going here? And on the topic of Speed Racer, I will not ever forgive the general public for not giving that movie the attention it deserved, but at the same time, I'm glad that it didn't, because it sits there as a gem. Because it wasn't all too popular at the time of its release, it can't be ruined with a modern day remake, and it's peak. This room temperature IQ explanation for why it's okay just sounds like racism with extra steps to me. Might I also add that this is the same person who made this exact argument for straight characters being made gay and gay characters being made straight. Is anyone gonna tell them about what they're doing the Tracer over there on Rule 34? Last time I checked, you don't need someone to have the same skin tone as you in order to feel represented by them. Because if that were the case, Naruto and Dragon Ball would not have popped off the way that it did for black and Mexican folk everywhere. Of course, this is a clear example of rules for thee, but not for me, a phenomenon you'll actually get a lot of while scrolling through Twitter. Follow me there, by the way. Sometimes I need help ratioing people, and you could be a part of that. And it is so annoying because these are the same kind of individuals that will just outright say they hate white people, which you literally cannot do for any other ethnicity except the non-melanated. And Indians for some reason. This whole thing of it being okay to depict a character in another color except white has become so bad that the recent trend of the internet Vocaloid Miku being depicted as a Brazilian revealed that not only are Twitter bums racist, but don't understand how skin tans work. Oh my gosh, why is there so much porn? And by the time this video drops, you can guarantee that the Smoothies will find yet another character to co-op into their racial revenge fantasies. As a matter of fact, it has happened, and now Miku is a supporter for both Israel and Palestine. You can't make this up. She's not a freedom fighter. She's a blue-haired, blue-eyed girl living in your Wi-Fi. But since they do exist now, the only logical thing for them to do is kiss. Honestly, it gets so irritating to see because it's always the most brain-dead take for why color washing is okay if it's of a white character. Like, white people are overrepresented in media. It's not hurting anyone if we change the color. You can't be racist to white people. Oh, you can't be racist to white people. The #1 defense racists use to justify their racism. I wonder what children's media have to say about the definition of racism.
DJ Gig, you can take your model minority myth somewhere else.
Model minority myth? What does that mean?
I think she just called you a racist, Benny.
Black people can't be racist? I agree. Racism is prejudice plus power, but we can be jerks.
Okay, now I wonder what reality has to say. Okay, prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. Notice how it says typically a minority or marginalized. That word right there means that racism can actually extend to all cultures and level of melanations, but the race professors on Twitter won't hear any of it. In clear English, it boils down to not liking someone based on the color of their skin and culture to a degree. This is the Oxford definition, by the way, and the Merriam-Webster one isn't too far off either. You can definitely be racist to white people. You can definitely be racist to any group of people, really. That's the beauty of racism. That's the reason why Mudahard got off the Twitter platform. Too many poop jokes on his timeline, which is a valid reason. When I first started using Twitter, my feed was filled with so much anti-black sentiment, I started to feel bad for even existing with my skin tone. Then I realized that the internet isn't a real place and most people are completely normal. And it also helps not being, Chris Rock, can you help me out?
And there's two sides. There's black people and there's niggers. The niggers have got to go.
Also, the mute and block button exists for a reason. I've said in the previous video that you, the user, can cultivate your experience on the internet into anything your heart desires, and people still seem to have a problem with that simple fact. Is it just me, but have racial tensions begun to rise again? Like, I want to say it's just me because I spend an unhealthy amount of time on the internet, but the anti-white sentiment has been going around all over mainstream media. Like that whole thing with the Disney executive clearly admitting that straight white dudes are not getting hired.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
That should have been eye-opening for so many people. And look, be racist all you want, but I can't stand niggas that pretend like their racism is different from other forms of racism just because it's against white people. What did the Proud Family clip say again? Prejudice plus power? What power does the average white person have over the average black person? Like, I've watched plenty of videos of white cops fucking up white people and black cops fucking up black people. I think, the general public forgets sometimes that racism doesn't exist in the vacuum. God, I hope I'm using that analogy correctly. What I mean is that the Fairly Odd Parents depicted it perfectly. If everyone in the world was the same, people would still find the reason to single out a demographic. It happens every time. There's always going to be an upper class, even if y'all motherfuckers are identical. So how does that tie into these miserable Twitter MFs? Well, I'll fucking tell ya. In reality, these Twitter artists are deep state moles designed to sue discourse in the online space. What else could explain people posting god-awful art like this and expecting everyone not to dogpile it for absolutely clear reasons? There was this My Little Pony art that was floating around that became a big thing on the internet and people were defending it. How is this depiction of black people not racist? Drawing melanated people as fat, unkempt, and generally displeasing to look at should be some kind of fucking red flag, in my opinion. I like my bitches bad, no matter the skin tone, alright? There are so many other things to put your energy into, but the chronically online art space is all about race. No, genuinely, you can't go anywhere on artist Twitter and not find some hollow-headed so-and-so talking about the skin tone of a character or that white people need to shut up. These people eat, drink, and breathe racism, but theirs is justified because it's against the right skin tone. Guys, you have to stop looking at skin tones and start following the paper trail. You'll realize that once you get to a certain tax bracket, race does not matter. I mean, that's just my take. They all sit and laugh while online nematodes complain about how color washing is a good thing because F white people, I guess. Look, do what you do and how you do it, but don't try to play the I'm not racist because I have no power card. It's cringe and the victim mentality will literally get you nowhere. Wear your prejudice on your sleeve or shut the fuck up, commie. I miss the days when we could just make light of racial differences and everyone gets a laugh. Now everything is mean-spirited and genuinely cringe. Honestly, the perfect time for that was just in the early 2000s when comedy movies would come about and everyone just got shat on. They don't even make parodies anymore, dude. Everyone is just so sensitive. It has become two sides of the same coin, and it's becoming increasingly insufferable day by day. Peace.